Hello folks! Recently I replayed State of Decay 1 with a goal to see if it's worth picking up today. In this video I will give you a quick summary of the game itself, what it does well, what it does bad, you know, like a typical review. But I will try to keep it short and concise, so without further ado, let's begin with this video. Okay, so State of Decay 1 is a zombie survival game released back in 2013. The main core of the game is not about the characters as individuals. You can lose them at any point and your story wouldn't change that much. In short, what matters here is your settlement, which you have to expand with better facilities and resources, and this is something that makes this game stand out when we compare it to other popular zombie survival games from that era. So let's talk about graphics a bit. It would be very unfair and stupid to compare it to modern games, but in my opinion these graphics look pretty fine. There isn't any jank or noise which would break the game immersion, and I feel like the game tries to go for a mix of cartoonish and serious style at the same time. I can't really explain what I mean exactly, because my English isn't that good, and honestly it's probably hard to tell on the video as well. You would probably understand exactly what I meant if you played the game before. The most important part of any zombie games are, well, zombies themselves. We gotta answer how do they look, how they feel, and few other things. For starters, there are a few types of zombies in this game. We have regular zombies. On their own they aren't really a threat, they are slow and clumsy, and not too hard to deal with. However, if you make too much noise, they will definitely become a problem. So you gotta be careful when you use your guns, even your car, and if you loot stuff, there is a chance that you make a loud sound. This is what game does really well. Once they group up, sometimes best thing to do is just leave and come back later. But if you have to fight a horde of zombies, you should have a Molotov on you or few other survivors, because once they encircle you, it's really hard to break loose as they constantly crowd control you. Other types of zombies are screamers, which of course gather zombies around them. You also have freaks, and I gotta say, fuck those guys. They're easily the hardest one to fight, as they are very agile and decently tanky. We also have bloaters, which just explode if you hit them in the stomach. And the last type of zombies we have are juggernauts. Basically they are very tanky but easy to dodge. Either you have to have some ammo on you, or few other survivors. So the zombie sounds are the other thing that the game does really well. It really makes you feel like the only thing on their mind is to eat you alive. Listen to this clip for my example. One last thing I have to say about zombies is that they aren't buggy, and only glitch I had was when the Juggernaut was too fat to charge through the door. Alright, so far it seems like this game does everything okay, and that couldn't be further away from the truth. There are some serious issues in this game that keep getting worse the further you play it. Let's start with something mild like cars. You're gonna spend a lot of time in them because of the poor objective design, or missions, whatever. They aren't that terrible to navigate, but sometimes they flip for zero fucking reason. Take this for example. I spent like 20 minutes gathering materials I needed to upgrade my base. Eventually I was ready to go back to base, and then all of a sudden my car tripped over nothing and I lost everything. However, one positive thing I have to say is that it's very fun to run over zombies with cars. Okay, characters are next. They are incredibly bland and forgettable. Yeah, I know I said earlier that it doesn't matter if you lose your characters for the outcome of your gameplay, but that doesn't justify to make them so forgettable. Voice acting isn't terrible, but not something great either, it just exists.
This is bullshit. We're just trying to survive out here. You can't kill us for that.
I wanna give you an example of few characters in this game. This is Sam. Her characteristics are wearing a shirt with a big dick written on it and cursing basically, that's it.
Nobody minds if we're getting shit done. Don't take shit you haven't earned. Or, hey, you could do it like a total fucking idiot. The first motherfucker I call. Give me a fucking hand again.
This is Alan. All he does is complain the entire time.
God damn it! About time you showed up. Just get us inside. What did I say? No cars.
And lastly we have Lily, which is only a memorable character in this game, but for all the wrong reasons. She's the one who keeps updating you with new available missions, and she spams your radio so often that it gets very annoying.
So we still got some stuff to take care of out there. You may need to hurry.
Will you shut the hell up?
Side missions. There are a few types of side missions in this game that aren't bad when you first start off. Help neighbors defend zombies, or maybe help them raid infested houses, or simply escort them back to base. Sometimes your survivors lose their morale and you have to take them out on a zombie killing spree to make themselves feel better.
Okay, now we're gonna kill some zombies the old-fashioned way.
It's okay to get this quest once or twice, but when you force this shit down my throat 4 times in a row on the exact same location, this is when the immersion breaks. Completing that quest doesn't do anything, but if you don't complete it in a certain time window, there is a chance that one of those survivors will later hurt one of the characters you spent a lot of time working on. There is also type of quests where you have to help one of your survivors take out the special type of zombies I talked about earlier. In reality, this just ends up being you driving to other part of map to kill one zombie and that's it. In conclusion, side missions are fine for the first couple of hours of game, as they bring variety to gameplay, but they get old pretty quick. And now we arrive to biggest problem this game has: story progression. Story itself is okay, it's about your settlement dealing with other neighbors around you, such as aggressive hillbillies that make moonshine, or about military that is very unfair towards survivors for some reason. But there is one very stupid mechanic in this game that ultimately made me give up playing it. You see, there is certain amount of missions that can be active on the map at the same time. Sooner or later, your world map will be clogged up with side missions only. Game doesn't care if it will serve you 6 side missions or 2 story progression missions. So basically, closer we get to completing the story, the harder it gets to trigger story missions. Therefore, we circle back to initial problem of repeating the same side missions that don't even feel rewarding. And when we combine that problem with bland characters, can you really blame me for not feeling motivated to finish the story? We are getting close to end of the review, and I wouldn't like to end it on bad terms because I did enjoy the game for quite some time. Last 2 things I wanna talk about are difficulty and combat itself. Game is fairly difficult when you first start the game, as you're still learning mechanics and there isn't a difficulty slider to help you out with that. So throughout the trial and error you learn what works and what doesn't. What makes the game so much easier is using the same characters for your expeditions, as they have skills you can level up. There are skills such as melee and gun combat skills and cardio. Very basic. What I would recommend is getting one character maxed out on melee skills as soon as possible, and then you would wanna save him for tasks that feel hard. Other than that, melee weapons feel great, you can feel the weight when you swing your melee weapons. And yeah, I can't complain about guns either. Sound effects are amazing, they deal nice damage, and ammo isn't too rare as well, which is fine. And this is the end, guys. I promise to keep it short and concise, so here are the final thoughts. If you're a fan of zombie games, or survival games in particular, I would honestly give this game a try. I genuinely had fun playing the game for like, I don't know, 10 to 12 hours. And the other thing is, game often goes on a heavy discount during Steam sales, so I would wait for that. It costs around $4, I think. And now to answer the first question, did it age like fine wine or spoiled milk? I would say something in between. You know, like a cheap wine stored in a Tetra box. Don't expect anything amazing, but hey, if you wanna get drunk, it will get the job done. End of the video. Subscribe if you wanna see more reviews in the future.
Yo. Oi.